Ever since Rowan was little, he has always been a little bit more of a difficult child. We knew there was different things about him. He had sensory issues, or stuff would trigger him differently than other kids. But about 6 months ago, it got to the point to where his dad and I were, honestly, at our end. We did not know what to do, how to discipline, how to parent really with him. We struggled a lot with Rowan. And so we made an appointment with his doctor to talk about different behaviors and different things that we can try, maybe things that she had seen. And he did suggest different discipline ideas, like maybe sending him by himself or trying this and doing different things, which we appreciated. But then we talked about maybe getting into a behavioral specialist, and she said that would take about 9 months. And we realized that we did not have 9 months to wait for his behavior. He also has a little brother at home, and so his behaviors were really aggressive. If his little brother had a toy he wanted, he would push. If he did not get his way, he would scream at us, or he would lash out aggressively towards us, whether it was hitting, yelling, kicking, screaming. You name it, he did it. And the higher we got elevated with him, the higher elevated he would get. And it would make our days very hard, especially in the evening, coming home from work, trying to get the evening going, dinner, bedtime, all that kind of stuff. And we were exhausted. His dad and I were exhausted by the time we would go to bed. Well, we talked to our sister-in-law, and she suggested coming to Smiley's. And we thought, why not? We will try anything. And she said the different success stories she has had, the different success stories her friends have had, and we said, we're down, we're going. We came in for our initial intake. It was great. He was horrible. I had to hold him down. His dad had to hold him down just to do a little scan on his back, just for them to look into his mouth. It was just, oh my goodness. So they did the scan. They started him on a couple of different supplements. Just from the supplements alone that Dr. Jessica started him on, we saw a completely different kid at home. His behaviors, his aggressive behaviors, minimized. I forgot to mention his speech was not that great. His speech started to improve. Then we came in and did our first session with him with lasers. It was not an ideal session when it came to his behavior, but we could tell that from that first one he was a little tired, but he did really well that evening. Well, then we came back. I think that's when we were 4 times a week. That next session, completely different. He was so much better. Progressing to a couple of weeks, he could come in probably without me and do it. We had a completely different kid at home. His behaviors towards his brother were better. He was listening a lot more. We were doing stuff at home with him that they suggested, as in his exercises. We were keeping up with the supplements, diet changes. And when I say our life got significantly easier, I can't put into words how much different he was. We started coming in February, and they told us that it would have been 9 months. So what's 9 months from February? November? So November is when we would get in to see a specialist on behavior, and it is now beginning of June. And we canceled our appointment with the behavior specialist because we feel like he does not need that anymore. We feel like this has really given him the tools that he needs. It's helped Matthew and I give the tools to help him at home on different things that we need. And we could not be more thankful than coming here. No one wants to say that their kid is not a pleasure or a joy, because we are very blessed and very thankful to have our kids and to have Rowan. However, he was not a joy to be around. Before, we never knew what we were going to get from him when we took him out in public. We never knew what we were going to get from him if we told him no or routed him somewhere else, or if someone else tried to talk to him and not really discipline but guide him into the right direction. You never knew what you were going to get, what kind of behavior you were going to get around other kids. We even had to pull him from his preschool Mother's Day Out program because how he would get overstimulated with other kids, and he would become, not in a mean way aggressive, but he would still play very aggressively. And then when he would try to be redirected by his teachers, it was not a good situation. So we had to pull him from that. He is now signed up to go to pre-K this fall because his dad and I feel like he's ready. He's ready to go. And I think that is a big help from Smiley's chiropractor. I think that has really helped him. And when I suggest to parents, when they are in the same situation as me, I say off the record what I've done for my son. And I suggest everybody to give this a try because you never know until you try it. And it has been very successful for Rowan. And we are very thankful for the people here and the tools that we have. We were very hesitant to even travel with Rowan. Anything that would be out of the ordinary, whether it was an airplane or being around a bunch of people in an airport. We took him to an amusement park before and he would just run away from us, like just run, not to be mean, but just because he was going and he was not paying attention. A couple of weeks ago, we got on an airplane for the very first time with him. And as parents, we were nervous because it was their first time getting on an airplane. However, we were kind of hesitant about Rowan's behavior, about how he would be. Not like we would have been probably 6 months ago, but we were still very nervous. He got on that airplane like he's rode a million airplanes before. The guy behind us said, oh man, I was really kind of kicking myself for not bringing headphones and seeing kids in front of me. He said, but you would never know. There were 2 kids in front of me. Your kids were wonderful. And they really were. And they were great on our trip. He is great in car rides. I mean, I could not ask for a better traveling kid in that sense. He did wonderful. For any parent that is looking for something that they're not sure what's going to fit their child, Rowan was never diagnosed with anything. But as a parent, as a mom, you know your kids. And I knew there was something different and something wrong. He was not really wrong, he was different and he needed help. He was too young for any kind of diagnosis, and I wasn't really ready for a diagnosis because I thought there was something else that we could do. And as a mom, as a parent looking for help for their kid and you're just at the end of your road, you don't know what to do, I would highly suggest coming here and trying it because it has worked for my family and it has worked for my son, and anybody that's been around Rowan can tell a difference. They keep saying, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it is working for him, and we agree. We agree completely.